Hey, Yetis, we are going to be talking about your assignments here. It is my idea that we keep things pretty light for the rest of this school year. And my thought was, why not knock out two birds with one stone and have you guys work on your portfolio papers as English assignments so that we reduce our stress in the future. Sarah, you're graduating in a few weeks, so these are going to be things you're going to be working on anyway. So I thought it might be a really good idea for us to go through how to write our reflective essays as part of our portfolio. So you're going to have to write a reflection on the Snowy Peaks orientation. You're going to have to write a reflection on the Snowy Peaks challenge hike. You're going to have to write a reflection on, I think, a primary experience in nature and how that defined you. So, this is a very relevant skill. A lot of papers in college will ask you to reflect upon something as well. So, I thought this would be a valuable way for us to end our school year. So, I was thinking we do like a paper per week for the rest of the school year because they're only about a page. So, let's shoot for that goal, but please be in communication with me if you need an extension or whatever. Like, hey, you know what? I'm going to get 3 papers done before the end of the school year or whatever. So, okay, here we go. Reflective essay. Reflective essay answers the question, how do you develop and express what you have learned about yourself as a result of an experience? Okay, so you are going to be writing this paper kind of with two purposes, right? What did I learn about the school and my engagement within our school community? What did I learn about myself in the process? So, okay, your goals and lesson objectives here will be to write a reflective essay. You're going to introduce your topic and your point of view. Your topic's either going to be the Snowy Peaks Challenge hike, which would be up Baldy or to a hanging lake, or your other one's going to be a reflection on Snowy Peaks orientation. Your point of view is going to be simple. You're writing this in first person point of view. It's a first person narrative paper where you're going to share your experience as well as your reflect upon your personal growth right over here. Okay, so introduce your topic, point of view, use details to share your knowledge about the school, and then reflect and share about your personal growth. So, a reflective essay is a kind of writing that requires the author to inform the reader about your attitude, your ideas, or your impressions regarding a given topic. Writing reflective essays is meant to help you describe how a certain event, person, or experience has impacted you, or to describe how the process of your personal growth occurred during this significant experience. Okay, so it's always with this added layer of like, here's what I gained from this. I liked it. I didn't. Here's how I'll use this in the future. A reflective essay is different from an informative essay in that way, where you're not just giving us information, you're reflecting on how it impacted you as a person. So this basically sums up what I just said, right? So in an informative essay, if I was going to write an informative essay on my favorite trip that I ever took, which was to Alaska, right? I might just tell you like how I prepared, how I got there, what I packed, where I went, right? So just very informative. Here's was my trip. But a reflective essay is going to add in the elements of like what I felt and how I changed, and a lot of value statements associated with that trip. So, what got me interested in going there? What were the feelings I experienced? What did I learn from this visit? How did this trip affect me as a person? So, those would be the differences. What we're aiming for in these papers are reflective essays. So, topics and ideas that you would put in a reflective essay. Okay, I think I'm going to give you like 4, if I remember, 4 different areas that you can go with. So this first one can serve as your introduction to the paper. All right, so just describe the activity and experience. Bring the reader to the event through your eyes. What happened? Use sensory language. So what that means is you might start your paper with, as I walked up to the blue and black door at Snowy Peaks for the first time on my first day at Snowy Peaks, I felt a little nervous. And when I walked in, I was met by smiling faces and teachers who cared, who were actually cooking breakfast for the students, right? So, like, bring us into the experience with you is a great way to describe the activity. You want to talk about things like who was with you, what did you feel, what were you thinking about at the time? Okay, another thing that you would include in a reflective essay, and these might be more along the lines of your body paragraphs, are what did you enjoy? What had a positive effect on you? How would you rate your effort or participation? What would you have improved or changed? So you're offering a critique. Remember, like a critique's like giving an opinion on the experience. All right. Um, for me, I got to tell you, I was blown away by the first time I ever stood on top of Baldy. It just had an amazing experience. It was an amazing experience for me, and it really changed my outlook on. Oh my gosh, we just did this together as a school. How many schools go climb a mountain together? Um, and so that would be something, an easy thing I could write about to critique the experience. Okay, to analyze the experience, all right, to analyze the experience kind of brings it down to these levels. So why would the school do this activity, right? Why do we go hike a mountain together? Is it really just about the hike? Is it doing something hard? Is it challenging ourselves to do something beyond what we think we can do? And was the school successful in doing that? What did you learn from the experience? Did it change your perspective at all? How do you feel about the experience looking back on it now? Right? Like, if you were to think back to the first time you ever walked into Snowy Peak's doors on an orientation day, how does that make you feel right now? So that's what we would talk about when we analyze the experience. And again, to use a personal example, man, I have never seen a school start the school year like Snowy Peaks did, where it just only wanted to focus on community and relationships and making sure every single kid knew that they were valued and cared about. That blew my mind. It just totally changed my perspective on how a school should run. Okay, so looking to the future, what knowledge do you have? What skills can you apply to the future? What people or resources do you have in your life as a result? For me, working at Snowy Peaks has changed my entire outlook on the world and how I interact with people and how I approach my idea about being community minded and how I approach diversity and people who have different needs and different likes and desires. I have truly grown as a person by being part of the Snowy Peaks community. So think about that. Like, what have you gained by being a part of these experiences, whether it be orientation or, the Snowy Peaks Challenge hike? The first time I ever went to Hanging Lake, golly, like that, what an amazing, mind blowing experience to know that that kind of beauty exists out there. And then, how do I think about it now as I'm quarantined and that appreciation for nature has gone up? So you can always think about like, what did I learn at that time? And then how can I apply it to my future self? Okay, and in your conclusion, you're just going to bring the piece together. You're going to provide a summary of both the points you made and what you learned about the school and what you learned about yourself, right? So, what did I learn about the school? What did I learn about myself? Bring those points together and just wrap it up. So that's going to be your conclusion. Okay, so just to take you through the two specific assignments that you can choose for these papers, here we go. The first one, you write a one-page minimum reflection on your experience at Snowy Peaks High School's orientation. Remember, orientation takes place the first week of school or the beginning of the second semester. The goal of orientation is to redefine the educational experience for our students and show you what we do, why we do it, and how we make a difference. Okay, so if you were to go back to that analyze, why does the school do this, right? That's part of the assignment here is to think about like, why would we do orientation and were we successful in that event? Okay, so on the right hand side you see a little more details, but the most important thing is to think about here your purpose. Why are you writing this? To express what you have learned about the school and yourself as a result of the experience. Okay. You're writing a reflection paper, your teachers are going to be your audience, and you're going to write about orientation at Snowy Peaks. The second assignment, and I promise you, this is like the last slide, so bear with me, okay? Your second assignment is to write a one-page minimum reflection on your experience at one of the Snowy Peaks Challenge hikes. All right, so you could choose the Baldy hike. If you were part of the Hanging Lake hike, we've let students do that one as well. So some ideas to consider. Why do you think the school does these challenges? Again, that goes back to the analyze your experience topic. Were you able to challenge yourself on the challenge hike? Did you meet your challenge goal, right? We want you to push yourself beyond what you think you can do on that particular day. How did that go for you? Um, what was the most enjoyable part of the hike for you? What was the worst part of the hike for you? Would there be anything different that you would do next time? And you'll see that each one of those questions kind of fits into one of the categories that we talked about that you would put into a reflective paper. Okay. The only one you don't see here is just describe the experience, right? Like, what was that experience like? How did it feel? Okay. So again, what will you write? A reflection paper. Who's going to read it? Your teachers. What are you writing about here? The Snowy Peaks Challenge hike. And again, why are you writing it? To express what you have learned about yourself and the school as a result of the experience. That's all I have for you today, Yetis. I will send out a rubric for you, or maybe even make a little video walking you through the rubric as well. You can write this on a Google Doc and submit it to me, but let's also make sure it gets uploaded into your portfolio. Email me directly if you have any questions. I miss you tremendously, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.